This is a one mark question asked in GATE 2021 of electronics. This is from digital subjects and from data converter topic. The given question is, an 8-bit unipolar, all analog input values are positive. Digital to analog converter has a full scale voltage range from 0 to 7.68 volt. If the digital input code is 100101110, the leftmost bit is MSB, then the analog output voltage of the DAC rounded up to 1 decimal place is dash volts. So it's a numeric answer type questions. Okay, so it's a 8-bit unipolar DAC. Unipolar means the voltages involved in this case are positive. Bipolar means you'll have possibility of both positive and negative. Unipolar means it can be only one polarity, either positive or negative, but in this case they have given it is positive. So this information is now going to play a role as far as the analysis of this question is concerned. So it's a very regular model problems. So it's a 8-bit DAC and the full scale voltage is given, which is 7.68 volts. And if this is the input, what are the outputs? So you know very well. So output of output of an n-bit DAC is given by resolution into decimal equivalent of binary inputs. Output of an n-bit DAC is given by resolution into decimal equivalent of binary inputs. So what is the resolutions? Resolution is full scale output divided by 2 raised to power n minus 1. So this is the resolutions. There are multiple ways, but in this problem the full scale output voltage is known and it's 8-bit DAC. So this formula will suit better compared to other ones. So resolution is full scale output in 2 raised to power n minus 1 into decimal equivalent of binary input. So the binary input is 100101110. So if you are converting this into its corresponding, what is it, to the decimal form, 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 1 into 2 raised to power 7 plus you have 0, you have 0. So this is 7, this is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0, right? So 0, 0, then it is 1 into 2 raised to power 4, then you have again 0, then you have 1 into 2 raised to power 2, then you have 1 into 2 raised to power 1 and then you have 0. So 2 raised to power 7, then 2 zeros, then 2 raised to power 4, then 1 0, then again 2 raised to power 2 into then 2 raised to power 1 and then it is again 0. So full scale output is given here 7.68 divided by 2 raised to power 8 minus 1. The n is indicating the bit size, which is 8 in this case. This into this is 2 raised to power 7 plus 2 raised to power 4 plus 2 raised to power 2 plus 2 raised to power 1 is 2. Okay, take a calci and simplify this. So this answer is coming something like 4.52, something like that, but up to 1 decimal place they are asking. So the final answer will be 4.5 volts. So it's a very regular model, straightforward questions. The answer is 4.5 volt for this. This is a 2-mark question asked in GATE 2021 of electronics. This is from digital subjects and from multiplexer topic related to delay. The given question is, the propagation delay of NOR gate and gate multiplexer in the circuit shown in the figure are 4 nanosecond, 2 nanosecond, 1 nanosecond respectively. If all the input PQ, RST are applied simultaneously and held constant, the maximum propagation delay of the circuit is. The options are 3 nanosecond, 5 nanosecond, 6 nanosecond, 7 nanoseconds. So basically this is circuit given and there are 5 input signal you can see PQ, RST. So it is given that, so the inputs are applied simultaneously and held constants, then what is the maximum possible time delay? Okay, and that's what we are supposed to find it. So you can see the output Y we are taking from this second multiplexers and okay, so what will be the output Y? So that depends on the select line. Select line is S0 and S0 is connected to T. So when you take T equal to 0, it will produce the output which is given at the input 0th inputs, and when you take T equals to 1, it will produce the output which is given on the first inputs. So there are 2 possibilities. So when T equal to 0 and when T equals to 1. So I am taking 2 cases when T equals to 0. when t equal to 0, if you make t equal to 0, so our target is to get y, right? Now to get y, so which input matters to me, whether this or this. So this matters to me. Now I should check at how much time I will be getting this. So that one plus delay of the multiplexer is what the total delay will be involved in these cases. I shouldn't think anything about this because this input is not interest to me as far as t equals to 0 as of now, right? So when t equal to 0, so this input will be selected. Now when you will get these inputs, so let us assume that all the 5 inputs are given at t equal to 0. For reference, let's assume that they are given at t equal to 0. So you can see you will get this output nothing but the output of this AND gates. So AND gate inputs are what? P and Q. So P and Q are available at t equal to 0. So at t equal to 0 the inputs are available, its own delay is 2 nanoseconds. So at what time we will be getting the output, that is 0 plus 2 at 2 nanosecond, you will get the outputs. So this is available to you at t equal to 2 nanosecond, and you know once you get it, multiplexer will produce the outputs after its own delay of 1 nanoseconds. So the input is available to you at 2 nanosecond and its own delay is 1 nanoseconds. So you will get y at how much? 3 nanoseconds. But the question is they're asking what is the maximum delay. So we shouldn't be concluding at these cases. We should also see the other possibility, that is what's going to happen when you take t equals to 1. Now when you take t equals to 1, so this will be 1 and this will be 1, right? When you take t equals to this and this will be 1. Now in this case, you are taking the output y. So if you take it is 1, so this input will be selected. Now like we have evaluated, so this input we are getting at t equal to 2 nanosecond. Now I should check at what time I will be getting these inputs. So that time plus its own delay of 1 nanosecond. After that much of time we will get y when you take t equals to 1. Now because you need these inputs, so I should think at what time I will be getting this. Because I need this one, then I should think at what time I will be getting this. Because I need this, right? So I should think at what time I will be getting this. Because once you take t equals to 1, so in this multiplexer also, this will come to picture, not this one. So the signal which is needed is this one I need, this one I need, this one I need, right? So let's see one by one. Once again, at t equal to 0, let's say the inputs are applied, right? So you need this, right? So R and S are available at t equal to 0 and its own delay is 2 nanosecond of this AND gates. So at what time we'll be getting this output means at t equals to 2 nanosecond we'll be getting this. At t equal to 0 both are available, its delay is 2, so 0 plus 2 at 2 nanosecond will get it. So you got this input at 2 nanosecond and its own delay is 1 nanoseconds. So at what time will be getting this, that is 2 plus 1 at 3 nanosecond you will get these outputs. Input is available at 2, its own delay is 1, 2 plus 1 is 3 nanoseconds. So you are getting this at 3 nanoseconds, right? And what time, okay, so now next thing is when we will be getting this. When we will be getting this means, so if you have given the input at t equal to 0, so you got this output at t equal to 2 nanoseconds, right? So you think it's a fresh case, at t equal to 0 you have given the input, so this output you will get at 2 nanoseconds. So basically this input of AND gate you are getting at 2 nanoseconds and this input of AND gate you are getting at 3 nanoseconds. At what time you have both of the inputs? Obviously the reference is 3 nanoseconds, because if I ask you at 2.5 nanosecond what is happening, you don't have this input, you have only these inputs. So we should think at what time we'll have all the inputs. So this is available at 2 and this is coming at 3. So you should think at 3 nanosecond both inputs are available. So at 3 nanosecond the input to the AND gates are available and its own delay is 2 nanoseconds. So at what time will be getting this 3 plus 2, that become 5 nanoseconds. So you'll get this at 5 nanoseconds. At 5 nanoseconds we are getting this and its own delay is 1 nanosecond. So in this case you will get y at 6 nanoseconds. Okay, so you can see when t equal to 0 we are getting output at 3 nanosecond, when t equals to 1 we are getting the output at 6 nanoseconds. So the maximum possible propagation delay is 6 nanoseconds. If the question would have been for minimum, then the answer could have been 3. If they are asking maximum, it should be 6. So it's a good logical question. You shouldn't be blindly keep on adding these delays of these things, right? So that is blunder. So you should think this way. So the answer is 6 nanosecond for this. This is a one more question asked in GATE 2021 of electronics. This is from digital subjects and from number system topic. The given question is, if 1235 base x is equals to 3033 base y, where x and y indicate the bases of the corresponding numbers, then what are the value of x and y? If you see the options, we are supposed to find the value of x and y. So this is a very common model questions. So what we do in such kind of problem is, this in base x, this in base y. So x and y can be any arbitrary base. So what we'll be doing is, we'll be converting this into base 10, and hence the base 10 equivalent of this, and these two will be equivalent to each other. Because if this is base x and this is base y, they are equivalent, then obviously if I am converting both sides into base 10, still they will be equal. Now I am converting into base 10 because we are quite comfortable to handle the equation in base 10 format rather than any other bases, right? So how to convert a number of any base into base 10? Just we have to expand that number in terms of the polynomial with respect to the corresponding base. For example, if I ask you what is the base 10 equivalent of this number, so this is 1 into x cube. So because this is x power 0, x power 1, x power 2, x power 3. That's what I am telling. Just you have to expand it as a polynomial with respect to this base x. So 1 into x cube plus 2 into x square plus 3 into x power 1, that is 3x, plus 5 into x power 0, that is 5. And this should be equivalent to 3 into y cube, y power 0, 1, 2, 3, plus 0 into y square. Again we have 3 into y power 1, and again we have 3 into y power 0. So if you simplify this, x cube plus 2x square plus 3x plus 5 is equals to 3y cube plus 3y plus 3. This is what we are getting, isn't it? Now if you further simplify this, x cube, okay, plus 2x square plus 3x minus 3y cube minus 3y plus 2 equals to 0. So just I am bringing all this side. So 5 minus 3 is 2, and this will be negative. So this is what the corresponding equation I am getting, okay, or this is the condition I am getting in the base 10. Now the point is, if you see the options, we have to find the value of x and y. But how do you find the value of x and y? Because there are two unknown and there is only one equations. So it won't be possible, right? The only thing is you can be going through hit and trial methods. In such kind of questions, it is wise to go through the bases, right? It is wise to go to the bases. So like if you see, one of the option is given, which is a, x equals to 7 and y equals to 5. Now you substitute here x equals to 7 and y equals to 5 and check is it satisfying or not. 7 cube plus 2 into 7 square. 7 square is 49. 49 into 2 is 98. Plus 3x, that is plus 21, minus 3y cube. 3 into 5 cube. Okay, how much it will be? 375, I guess, right? Minus 375 minus 3y, that is minus 15, plus 2 equals to 0. You can check it out. So this equation will not be valid. You just simplify this and see this entire thing will not be 0, right? Then option A is not satisfying. Then you should go with option B. If you see the option B, here given x equals to 8 and y equals to 6. Now if you substitute x equals to 8 and y equal to 6, how much will you get? 8 cube. Okay, what is 8 cube? 512. Plus 2 into x square. So x square is 64. 64 into 2 is 128. Plus 3x. So 3 into 8 is 24. Minus 3y cube. Minus 3 into 36. Okay, 3 into 6 cube. Then minus 3y. Minus 3 into 6 is 18. Plus 2. Okay, equals to 0. So you can check it out. So you simplify this and see this is coming as 0. So 0 equals to 0. So this will be the right answers. Similarly, we have two more options. So you have to go with sequence, right? You don't know if you are going to hit and trial, which option will satisfy, you don't know. So to start with A and finally in B, we are getting it. If it would not have been satisfied in B, then would have gone through C. If not then D. So out of 4, any one will be satisfying. Okay. So rather the problem would have been framed in some other way. If there have been two different equations, we could have solved them by normal mathematical equations and we could have got the answers. But in such kind of cases, well, there is no scope, so this is the way to reach into final solutions. So the answer is x equals to 8 and y equal to 6. That's what is given in one of the options. That's the right answer. This is a one mark question asked in GATE 2021 of electronics. This is from digital subjects and from memory related topic. The given question is, addressing a 32K cross 16 memory is realized using a single decoder. The minimum number of AND gates required for the decoder is, the options are 2 power 8, 2 power 32, 2 power 15 and 2 power 19. So the intention is to design a memory whose size is 32K cross 16. So this 32K cross 16, so this can be written as, so 32 is 2 raised to power 5 and this K is 2 raised to power 10 and this is 16, right? So this is 2 raised to power 15 cross 16. So this actually indicates in a memory when it is written like something into something. So the first number, that is 2 power 15, in this case it indicates number of rows, and the second number indicates it is number of columns. So if you know the memory concepts, this is what it means. 2 raised to power 15 is the number of rows and number of column is 2 raised so number of column is 16 in this case. So these many number of rows has to be addressed actually. Okay, so now the point is, okay, if it is having 2 raised to power 15 number of rows, so from this what information we can get is, to have or to design the systems, okay, we need a decoder. The decoder size is nothing but 15 into 2 raised to power 15. So in other words, if you have okay, let's say a memory size is 2 raised to power p cross k, okay. Now in the design of this memory, it will involve one decoder. There will be some other components also, but it involve one decoder whose structure is p cross 2 raised to power p. So in this case it is 2 raised to power 15, so it is 15 into 2 raised to power 15. So this is the size of the decoder, okay, and in this how many number of AND gates will be there? Definitely 2 raised to power 15. Now how I am saying this? Suppose for example, I am saying you to draw the internal structures of a 2 cross 4 decoder. If I say to design, like a 2 cross 4 decoder, how does the internal circuit of a 2 cross 4 decoder look like? If some of you have learnt in the digital basics, so it will be looking something like this, okay. So this is your A, this is your B, then first line will be coming from A bar, B bar, and there will be AND gate. Then it is A bar and this is B, then there is one more AND gate, then A and B bar, one more AND gate, and then you have A and B from here, and from here there is one more AND gates. So this is the internal structures of a 2 cross 4 decoder, or this block diagram is equivalent to 2 cross 4 decoders. So there will be enable line obviously, and there will be 2 inputs and 4 outputs. So this is a 2 cross 4 decoder. The point what I wanted to show in this case is, if I ask you to draw the internal structures of a 2 cross 4 decoder, it involves 4 number of AND gates. If I say you go through 3 cross 8 decoders, so it will involve 8 number of AND gates. Similarly, if I ask you to draw the internal structure of a 15 cross 2 raised to power 15, so naturally the number of AND gates involved will be 2 raised to power 15. So this is a kind of a bit skilled kind of questions. You should be able to correlate the concepts. So first thing you should be knowing, so if the number of rows are this much, okay, it needs one decoder having size this much. And if you know the decoder structures, how does it actually looks like internally, then only you can answer these problems. So based on these concepts, we can say the number of AND gate involved in this case will be 2 raised to power 15, and that's what one option is given. This is a 2 mark question asked in GATE 2021 of electronics. This is from digital subjects and related to the counter concept. The given question is, the propagation delay of XOR gate in the circuit is 3 nanosecond. The propagation delay of all flip-flops is assumed to be 0. The clock frequency provided to the circuit is 500 MHz. Starting from initial value of flip-flop outputs Q2, Q1, Q0 equals to 1, 1, 1 with D2 equals to 1. The minimum number of triggering clock edges after which flip-flop outputs Q2, Q1, Q0 becomes 1, 1, 0 in integer is dash. So the summary of the question is, we have these circuits and this XOR gate is a non-ideal one whose delay is 3 nanoseconds and the delay of all the flip-flops are 0. So there is no delay involved on the flip-flops. Initially the states are Q2 is 1, Q1 is 1, Q0 is 1 with D2 equals to 1. Initially Q2, Q1, Q0 as well as D2, these all are given 1 initially. And the clock frequency, this clock frequency is given 500 megahertz. We are supposed to find after how many edges of clocks or after how many clocks the state which is 111 now that becomes 100. So you have to find this. If f clock equals to 500 megahertz, then t clock is equals to 1 by f clock. So that is 1 by 500 into 10 power 6. So this happens to be 2 nanoseconds. So the t clock is 2 nanoseconds. So clock period 2 nanosecond, clock frequency is 500 megahertz. So I'll be plotting, okay, with respect to waveforms, it will give very crystal clear pictures. So first I am taking the clock, okay. So clock, if I take, I am taking sufficient cycles. Okay. Let's say this is the first edge, second edge, third edge, fourth edge, fifth edge, sixth, seventh, eighth, then I have ninth and 10th. Okay. So positive edge, because the triggering is positive edge triggering from the symbol. So I'm highlighting the positive edge. So this is your clock signals. So this is your clock signals. Let us say this is t equal to 0. So this is t equal to 0. That means this is happening at t equals to 2, t equals to 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 and 18. So positive edges are happening on 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, etc. And the negative edges are happening on 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 and 17. Okay, so these are only for our reference. I am just taking, because delay means these questions these are basically the logical questions, and you should have very crystal clear pictures, and diagrams always give very crystal clear pictures compared to writing a bunch of equations. So this is the clock signals, and then I am plotting 3 waveforms. What is being happening for Q2, what is being happening for Q1, and what is being happening for Q naughts. Okay, Q2, Q1 and Q naughts. Okay, so I'm just extending this instance, and these highlight points are nothing but the points where the positive edges are existing. Okay, it's something like this. So I'm extending the line like this because initially Q2, Q1, Q0 value are 1. So I haven't applied any clock. Okay, this will be the first clock. So these are the time instant I have taken. But if you ask me in terms of clock, so this is the first clock, this is the second clock, this is the third clock, this is the fourth clock, this is fifth clock, 6th, 7th, 8th, and this is 9th, and this is 10th clock. Okay, so these are in terms of clock I have written, because we are supposed to find after how many clock. So these numbers are with respect to the time instant starting with 0, and these are what I have written. These are first clock, second clock, third clock, fourth, fifth, sixth. We can easily refer it. Okay, see, initially Q2, Q1, Q0s are given 1, 1. Okay, so you haven't applied any clock. So these are what being given initially. One more thing, notice carefully that delay of XOR gate is given 3 nanoseconds. This is not a ideal cases. And the XOR gate property is, if both of the things are, what is the XOR gate property? A, B and Y if I see, okay, for 0, 0 and 1, 1, you get the output 0. and 0 1 and 1 0, you get the output 1. That is, when both inputs are same, you get output 0. When both inputs are opposite, one is 0, other is 1 and vice versa, then you get the output 1. So this point should also be in your mind for XOR gate property. Okay, see. So initially Q2, Q1, Q0 all are given 1. So this line is nothing but Q2. So initially this is 1 and this line is nothing but Q0. So this is also initially 1. Okay. So 1 and 1 are the input initially to this XOR gate. Okay. So if the input to the XOR gate is 1 and 1, then the output is 0. But the point is, if this could have been given 0 nanosecond, the delay would have been 0. Okay, then immediately this 1 would have been processed, you would have got 0. So the starting point is, whenever you are giving the first clock, what is happening? That is, at t equal to 0, what will happen? So at t equal to 0, will it process the with respect to 1 or will it process with respect to 0? When I say 0 means output of 1 and 1, it will be 0. So if I am saying this is what is the information at t equal to 0, because at t equal to 0 they are telling Q2, Q1, Q0 is all are 1, 1, 1. And at t equal to 0 itself, I want to apply the first clock. So what does this mean? That at t equal to 0, the output of XOR gate, it will be still 1. It is supposed to be 0 after 3 nanosecond, but exactly at t equal to 0, if I ask you, then definitely, so this is nothing but equals to, it has to be how much only? This has to be 1 only. That means at t equal to 0, when the first edge is coming and it's a synchronous circuit, all are receiving the clock simultaneously. At t equal to 0, the input to this D flip-flop is 1, and to this also 1, and this also 1. So what is going to happen? The property of the D flip-flop, the state equation Q plus equals to D. That is, whatever is available on output after 1 clock, the same thing will be reflected on this corresponding output. So if in the input I have 1, 1, 1, if I give 1 clock, so after the clock, so you will get 1, this one will get here, and this one will get 1. So next state is nothing but equal to the flip-flop inputs. So whatever in the input you give 1 clock, so that input will be reflected at the output after the clock transitions. And for further more clarity, let us have one more waveform, that is for D2. That is for D2. So what will be the D2? D2 is initially given it is 1. Okay. So initially it is 1. This is at t equal to 0. This is 1. Okay. But the input is 1, 1. Okay. So after how much time this will be 0? Because if the input is 1 and we know it is 0. So at t equal to 0, if we assume the inputs are given 1, 1. After 3 nanosecond from 0, that is at 3 nanosecond, D2 becomes 0. So that means 3 nanosecond means somewhere here. So this is the point of 3 nanoseconds. So this point is of 3 nanoseconds. So even if the input 1, 1 is coming at t equal to 0, its output should be 0 immediately if the delay have been 0. But because the delay is 3 nanosecond, so it will still maintain 1 till 3 nanoseconds. And here onwards it will be 0. Okay. Okay, fine. So at t equal to 0, the input to this D flip-flop is 1, the input to this flip-flop is 1, and the input to this flip-flop is also 1. So if you give 1 clock, so Q2 will be, again it will be 1 for till this point, Q1 will be again 1, and Q0 will be again 1. Why? Because the input to this is 1, 1 and 1. So after first clock, the corresponding states will be 1, 1, 1. If I ask you, what is the state of the the circuits after the first clock, the answer will be, here you can see 1, here you can see 1, here you can see 1. So after first clock, the state is 1, 1 and 1. Because we have to keep on continuing like this, at what time the state will be 1, 0, 0. So in first clock, we are getting 1, 1, 1. Our objective is to reach 1, 0, 0. Let us continue. Let's see after how many clock we get it is 1, 0, 0. Okay. So first clock is over. Now in the beginning of second clock, that is second clock is about to come. Okay. Now again I'll ask you, what is the input to D2, D1 and D0? See, D2 will be here, right? So we are speaking about here just before the second clock, that is here. So that is here, right? So this here. So here if you see, D2 is 1. Okay. But what about this like D1 and D0? So D1 is nothing but equals to the Q2 and D0 nothing but equals to Q1. So what we are observing is, just before the second clock, so this Q2 is 1, Q1 is 1, Q0 is 1. So that means just before the second clock, so this is 1 because 0 has not yet come, and this is still 1. You can see here, this is 1. Which one? This is 1, Q2 is 1, and Q1 is also 1. So that means if I give one clock, the input to this one are 1, 1, 1. Again it will continue for 1. It will again continue for 1. And this will again continue for 1. Okay. That means after the second clock is given, because the delay are 0, I am writing here exactly on these edges because the delay of flip-flops are 0. So immediately when the clock is given, they will change their state. So after first clock, your state was 1, 1, 1. Now in the second clock, also your state is 1, 1, 1. Right? After giving the second clock, your state is 1, 1, 1. How? This is 1, this is 1, and this is 1. Okay? Here also it was 1, this was 1, and this was 1. Okay, so how many clocks are over? 2 clocks are over, state is still 111. Now we should see what is happening on the third clock. So third clock means, so what is going to happen on this transition? So before that we have to again check what are the input to the flip-flops. Okay, so now see, the interesting fact is, so third clock is here. Now D2, it is not no more 1, it will be 0 because which was happened 1, 1 at t equal to 0. Now 3 seconds has already passed till we go to this third clock, because third clock is nothing but equals to 4 nanoseconds, and at 3 nanosecond itself this is already been 0. So now if I ask you just before the third clock pulse, what are the input to the flip-flops? Then what is your answers? So just before the third clock pulse, the input to this is 0, and the input to D1, which is Q2, that is again 1 just before the third clock pulse. So this is 1, and again just before this one, so this is again it is 1 only. So this is 1 only, right? So you can see Q1 is also 1. So if I give the input now 0, 1, 1, now what are the corresponding output if I ask you after the third clock pulse? So this 0 will be available here, this one will be available here, this one will be available here. So that is just before giving the third clock pulse, the input to the flip-flops are 0, 1, 1. Okay, which is 0? This D2 will be 0. Right, just before third clock pulse, D2 is 0. So if I ask you what is going to happen to this particular Q2 after the third clock pulse, so definitely this is going to be 0. Why? Because the input is 0 to this when the third clock is coming. So 0 is the input, so that will be transmitted to outputs. But what about these two? Because when third clock pulse is coming, the input is 1. So again it will continue with 1, and again to this also input is 1. So this will again continue with 1. So after the third clock, the states are 0, this is 1, and this is also 1. So once the third clock is over, so here, so the state we are getting is 0, 1, 1. The state we are getting is 0, 1, 1. But the main point is this now. The main point is this. Now this Q2 is nothing but equals to 0, right? So because Q2 was 1, now this Q2 you can see here. So this connection is given from Q2, right? So this point is Q2. So Q2 which was 1 earlier, now this Q2 becomes 0. Now this Q2 becomes 0. Yes or no? And what is the status of Q0? Q0 is still continuing with 1. Are you getting or not? Earlier it was 1 and only, but now Q2 has been 0. So at what time Q2 is becoming 0? So that means at what time Q2 is becoming 0 means if you see here, just after this third clock pulse, that is at 4 nanoseconds, so this is becoming 0. Now the point is, XOR gate if you see, if one of the input is 1, other input is 0, the output will be 1. So now the output is 0, now the input has changed to 1, 0. So with respect to 1, 0, its output will be 1. But it won't happen immediately, it will happen after delay of 3 nanosecond. With respect to what 3 nanosecond? So now I will ask you at what time this one has been changed to 0. So if I ask you at what time this Q2 has changed to 0 means, so this change is happening on t equals to 4 nanosecond, right? So t equal to 4 nanosecond. At t equal to 4 nanosecond this change has happened. So from t equal to 4 nanosecond, after 3 nanosecond this will again become 1. So in other words, so this will be again 1 at t equals to 7 nanosecond. That is up to 7 nanosecond, it will still continue with 0. So if I ask you where is the 7 nanosecond, so this is the point, this is t equals to 7 nanoseconds. So this will be 0 till 7 nanoseconds. And again from 7 nanosecond afterwards, it will be 1 and it will continue again like this, maybe for another 3 nanosecond up to whatever it is. So I hope this is clear. So initially the input was 1, 1. So from 0 after 3 nanosecond, that is here, the state has changed from 1 to 0. So now again the input to this is changing at t equals to 4 nanosecond, that is here when this is making transitions. So from 4 nanosecond, 3 nanosecond additional means at 7 nanosecond it will change to 1. That is till 7 nanosecond, okay, or before up to 7 nanosecond, this input is reserved or this is fixed on 0 only. After that it will again change to 1. So this is the scenario after the how much third clocks are over. Now I have to ask at fourth clock what is going to happen. Then I should again check before fourth clock what are the status of this flip-flop inputs. Before fourth clock what are the status of this flip-flop inputs. So before fourth clock means, so this is the fourth clock, right? So here, so what is the state? So here if I ask you, you can see here your D2 is nothing but equals to 0. So this is 0. So these are the input it is supposed to process after the fourth clock. So before fourth clock, just before the fourth clock, so D2 is nothing but equals to 0. So this is the fourth clock, right? This is the fourth clock. So D2 is 0. And what is Q2? So Q2 if you see, Q2 is also 0. So Q2 is also 0. So this is also 0. And what is Q1? Q1 if you see, so Q1 is 1. So Q1 is 1. So that is just before giving the clock pulse. So D2 becoming your 0. Q2 is also 0 and Q1 is 1. Now when you give the clock pulse, what's going to happen? So this 0 will come here, this 0 will come here and this one will come here. So because D2 is 0, so Q2 will continue to 0 till the next cycle. So this is 0. Because Q2 is 0, now D1, I mean Q2 is 0. So now Q1, which was earlier 1, now this 0 will come into picture. So this will be 0. So this is 0. Similarly, to this, the input is 1. Okay. So when you give the clock, still this one will be coming to the next state. So this will be your 1. So before the clock transitions, the inputs were 0, 0 and 1. So after the clock, so you are again continuing with 0 here and you will continue with 0 here and this one will be still continued. Now if I ask you, so I have given the fourth clock. Now what is the status immediately after the fourth clock? So this is 0, this is 0 and this is 1. So after fourth clock, the status is 0, 0 and 1. 0, 0 and 1. Now we should see before fifth clock what is being happening. Before fifth clock what is being happening. Fifth clock means, so this corresponds to 8 nanosecond. Okay, this is the fifth clock is right. So fifth clock means it corresponds to 8 nanoseconds. So if I am speaking regarding 8 nanosecond, again my story will be same. I should again check what are the input to this flip-flops and then we'll give one clock and we'll check what is the corresponding output. So before fifth clock, so first I should check what is D2. So fifth clock means, as I said, it is 8 nanosecond, but in 7 nanosecond itself this is already being 1. That means at 8 nanosecond, that is on fifth clock edge or 8 nanosecond, so this D2 is nothing but equals to 1. So this change which has happened at 4 nanoseconds, so 3 nanoseconds are already over. At 7 nanosecond itself, this is 1 and we are checking just before 8 nanosecond what is happening. So before I give the fifth clock, so this is being already 1. Now I should ask what is Q2 and what is Q1. So Q2 if I see, so Q2 is 0 and if I see what is Q1, Q1 is also 0. Right? So these are what the state of D2, Q2 and Q1 before I gave the fifth clock. Now if I give the fifth clock, what's going to happen? So this one will be coming here. So that is Q2 if I ask you, so this will be definitely equals to 1. So this will be 1. And what will be this Q1? Q1 will be 0. So Q1 will again continue with 0. And what will be Q0? Q0 will be 0 now. Q0 will be 0 now because its corresponding input, which is D0, is 0. If you give clock, so you will get it is 0. So we got 0 here, we got 0 here. So the state is 1, so the state is 0 and the state is 0 here. So now if I ask you after the fifth clock, so here what is the state? The state is what you are getting is 100. You can see here Q2 is 1, Q1 is 0 and Q0 is 0. And that's what it is supposed to find. State Q2, Q1, Q0 will be 100 after how many clock pulse? So after 5 clock pulse. So initially, before giving any clock, this state was 111. When I give the first clock, I got 111 again. Second clock also 111. Third clock 011. Fourth clock 001, and fifth clock is 100, and at 5th clock itself we are getting the desired thing, and that's the right answers. So whenever you get such kind of questions, okay, so your mind should be very calm and quiet, then only this kind of question you can answer. Otherwise lots of time will be wasted and you will be ending up with nothing, right? So the answer is 5 for this. This is a 2-mark question asked in GATE 2021 of electronics. This is from computer organization topic, or you can say related to something microprocessor of old syllabus. The given question is the content of registers are R1 is 25H, R2 is 30H and R3 is 40H. The following machine instructions are executed, like push R1, push R2, push R3, pop R1, pop R2, pop R3. After execution, the content of registers R1, R2, R3 are. Okay. So this is what is the set of instructions given, and initially the contents are initialized to 25, 30 and 40. Then we are supposed to find what are the contents of R1, R2, R3 after execution of this set of instructions. So, like in push pop instructions, the concept of stack memory comes into picture. In push pop instructions, concept of stack memory comes to pictures, and stack work with a principle called last in first out, LIFO. Okay, and you should also know in push instructions stack pointer decremented by 2, and in pop instructions the stack pointer incremented by 2. So this is what normally it happens. Now for understanding purpose, in this case I am taking a stack memory. Okay, so let's say this address is 0016 0015 0014 0013 0010 0009 0008 0007 and so on and so forth. And let's say initially the stack pointer is pointing to 0016. Initially stack pointer is pointing to 0016. These are not given, only for understanding purpose I am taking. And here in push pop instructions, the registers which are used, so they are of 16-bit actually. So 25H, okay, so this is equivalent to 0025H. 30 is equivalent to 0030H, and this is 0040H in terms of 16-bit representations. This is what happens. Now, okay, so this is what is the thing is, R1 is containing 0025, R2 is 0030 and R3 0040. Now the point is, when this push R1 will be executed, what's going to happen? When this push R1 will be executed, top 2 bytes of stack memory will be filled up with the content of R1. So first thing what happens is, what will happen is, first time decrement will happen first, and then the higher byte will be pushed into the corresponding stack pointer. Again stack pointer will decrements, then the lower byte will be pushed in the corresponding stack pointer locations. So basically when you execute this push R1, so the first thing what's going to happen is, stack pointer which was pointing to this, now it will point this, and now the higher order bytes is 00 will be pushed into this. Then again the stack pointer will be decremented one more time, and the lower order byte 25, so this will be pushed into this. So after execution of push R1, so this is what the scenario. Stack pointer was initially pointing to these locations, then after execution of push R1, so this is pointing to 0014. That's what we said, in push stack pointer decrements by 2. Earlier it was 0016, now it is 0014, decremented by 2. So now when you execute this push R2, so when you execute this push R2, stack pointer will first decrement, and the higher bytes of R2 00 will be pushed into this. Again stack pointer will decrement, and the lower byte, that is 30, will be pushed into this. So this is at the end of push R2. Next is push R3. Now what is going to happen in push R3? So the stack pointer will be decremented by 1, so it will point to this, and higher bytes of this will be pushed into this. So this is 00, and again this will be decremented by 1, it will point here, and again this 40 will be pushed into this. So at the end of this push R3, okay, the stack pointer was initially pointing 0016, at the end of 3 push instructions, it is pointing to 0008. You can see with respect to this stack pointer has been decremented by 8 as expected. In 1 push it decrements by 2, in 3 it will be decrement by 6, right? It will decrement by 6. Actually I did a mistake, right? So this, okay, these are not in continuous phase. This is 13, this is 12, this is 11, this is 10, and this is 9. Yeah. So if there are 3 push instructions executed, so because memory are in continuous way, right? So 3 push instructions executed, so 2 into 3 is 6. So 16 minus 6, it will be 10. It will be pointing to here. So this is what the scenario is. Okay, up to this is over. Now pop R1. So in pop R1, what's going to happen? Pop R1 means in this case, so the content of the stack memory will be copied into the R1. But in what way it happens? So the lower byte is 40 now, so it will be copied into the lower byte of R1 and it will increment the stack pointer by 1. So when the pop R1 will be executed, first it will copy where it is pointing, it will be 40 it is pointing, so 40 will be copied to this, and then this will increment by 1. If it increment by 1, it will be 00. And then whichever it is pointing, it will be copied in the corresponding content will be copied into higher byte of the corresponding registers. So after execution of pop R1, so the content of R1 will be 0040 and the stack pointer which was this, so it will be pointing into 0012. So when the increment is happening, so first it is copying then incrementing. So it was pointing to 40, it first copied 40 and then incremented, so it came here. Now again in this case it copied 00 and then it will again increment. So now the stack pointer is pointing to 30, but note that stack pointer is pointing to this locations, but we haven't executed pop R2. So at the end of pop R1, the content of R1 is like this, and the stack pointer is pointing to this location which was earlier this. You can see it is incremented by 2. So this is over. Now next is pop R2. So if I say pop R2, now again the content of stack pointer will be copied. So it is pointing to 30, so 30 will be copied here and it will increment by 1, and then it will be copied into 00 into here, it will again increment by 1. So at the end of pop R2 executions, so stack pointer will be pointing in these locations and the content of registers R2 will be like this. And if I say, then what's going to happen at the end, that is for R3, pop R3. So pop R3 means again which is pointing 25 will be copied here, it will increment this, and again it will be 00 and it will again increment to this. So initially it was pointing to these locations, 3 push instruction, stack pointer decremented by 6, 3 pop instructions, it is incremented by 6, again the stack pointer is coming back into its original positions. So you can see before executions the content of R1 is 25, but after execution content of R2 is 40. Content of R1 is 40. Before execution of instructions R2 content was 30, it is still containing 30, and before execution of instructions R3 was containing 40, now this is containing 25. So the answers are respectively 40, 30 and 25. So this is for R1, this is for R2 and this is for R3. These are in the corresponding 8-bit notations. R1 should contain 40, R2 should 30, R3 is 25 after the end of executions. So this is the final answers.